Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. When Sean Shadput lost his life to suicide on March 2nd, his family and the community was shocked. But the Shadput family are not alone. Today's guests are members of the family. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
My condolences to all of you.
I'm Angel, and I'm his cousin.
I'm Debbie. I'm his mom.
I'm Amanda. I'm his oldest sister.
Right. Well, this is obviously a painful topic for all of you. Why have you chosen to be very public about it? Because a lot of people aren't.
I can tell you why I am, because I looked up to my younger brother. Most people don't talk about suicide, but if your family member dies of cancer or some other disease like that, they are willing to talk about it. It's not hush-hush. I refuse to let my brother's memory disappear. I was very proud of him, I still am, and I want to make sure that other people realize that you can get help for this, that you're not alone in this whole thing. It has affected my family deeply, something that we will never get over. Still waiting for Sean to come back through that door every single day. But if we can prevent one suicide, then we've accomplished something.
You know, why is it that when you lose somebody due to cancer or diabetes, we're able to talk about it? But is it because of the stigma that has been long associated with suicide?
I think that when someone has cancer or diabetes or any other disease, that's exactly it. It's like it's something that attacked them, that they got through a lot of times no fault of their own. And many times people believe that when someone has lost their life to suicide, that it was something selfish that they did. And they don't realize that it wasn't necessarily a choice that person made. It was something that happened because they felt that they didn't have any more choices.
And one thing we talked about before the show, and I hear you saying it now, is that he lost his life to suicide. While most people say that somebody committed suicide, what is the difference of committing suicide versus losing your life to suicide?
When you say that somebody committed suicide, then again, it's like they made a choice, they took it into their own hands, and they did it. And as like a selfish act with no regards for anybody else. And most of the time when someone has lost their life to suicide, it's because they felt that they had no choice. It's a mental illness, and people don't like to talk about mental illness. If somebody is born with a mental illness, autism or a form of retardation or something like that, well, then you can look at that person and you can see something. But when somebody is born completely healthy and throughout their lives, problems arise and things happen that you don't always have control over, and it kind of creates an illness, and sometimes you're just so lost that you can't find your way back out, and you don't want to talk to somebody about it because then somebody thinks there's something wrong with you.
Now, I don't know if you can do it, Mom.
Yeah.
But, are you able to talk about who was your son? What was he? If you can't, that's okay.
I can try. Sean came from, my mom and dad had 5 kids. Sean was the 3rd oldest. And then there was me, and there was Matt older than him. Sean was always driven. He knew what he wanted in life, which is what I respected. He had this grand plan of what he was going to do with his life, which, as the older sister, I was kind of jealous because I was older. I was supposed to, I was supposed to be setting the example, but my little brother, he set the example for me. I've never met anybody who did not like my brother. He was very easygoing, didn't like trouble, willing to help people, always seemed happy. And I think that's what the biggest shock was, that he was, you always saw him and he had a smile on his face. So when he did die, it was a total shock. Nobody, he had all these plans and goals, and everybody thought he was going along with them, and nobody saw his heartache, because it's one of those things that you have to keep hidden, that nobody wants to hear about. People ask you, how's your day? They don't want you to come out and say, oh, it's horrible, They expect you to just say, oh, everything's okay, and, that's the answer you get. So nobody saw Sean's pain, and nobody expected it because he was so wonderful.
And I've been following you folks a bit on Facebook, and you have decided not to let his death be in vain, and it seems like you've connected with other people who have lost their loved ones to suicide. Have you connected with quite a few?
More and more all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. More and more people coming forward telling us that, they're glad people finally can talk about it.
It's like you hear about it, periodically you'll hear it happened in this town or it happened in that town to a family, and then it seems to kind of slip away and under the rug after a while, and you kind of go on and forget about it. Well, through the pain in this family, and also a family that's close to us, that this also happened to the Bathlon family. We've talked with them, and they've said it's okay to talk about their family, and also Gage Hebert's family. And we've started this committee. Mary Butler has her stepson was Gage Hebert, and through a friend of hers, she joined this Out of the Darkness community walk in Burlington, and there was nothing in this area like that. Well, she got to know Lillian Bathlon and their family, and the two of them got together, and then they found Debbie and the Shappets, and so that's how this whole thing has all come to be. And we're all these families are very passionate about it, and we're really looking for other families who want to share in this, who want to have a voice. We don't want people to feel like it needs to be hidden and swept under the rug, that it's okay to be out there and wear your pain on your sleeve, just like anybody with breast cancer wears a pink ribbon, or you buy them or anything pink to support somebody like that. We don't necessarily have a ribbon for you to put on today, but we want people to be able to come together in a place where they feel safe to share that pain and know that everyone else there is with you and understands you.
I know when you lose a child, people have told me is you cannot truly understand that pain unless you've been through it. That's how come there are support groups for people who lose children, because they understand. But is that really true also of, if you lose somebody to suicide, are you able to connect though better with other other families who's been walked your walk?
Yes.
Yeah, who would have people that have committed suicide. Yeah.
So what's your ultimate goal? What do you want to do with his, well, not only his death, but his life? What are you hoping? You're hoping to save more people?
Bring awareness.
People will be able to talk about it and not have to be quiet.
Yeah.
Do you think it's harder, from a man's perspective, do you think it's harder for a man to come forward and say, I'm having problems?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's such a stigma. Women many times will seek help
Right.
if they know that they can see that something's wrong, they know it, and they can feel like, okay, I need to do something about this or talk to somebody about it. And many times men just feel like they're supposed to be in control of things all the time. They're supposed to be maybe the breadwinners in their families. And if things go wrong, if they lose their job, I mean, we're coming through a time where a lot of people are losing jobs and things like that. There's just not the money to support. Maybe you lose your home, you lose your car, your wife walks out on you, or, so many things, and men just don't look for help the way women do.
Because, I've heard the saying, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Would you basically agree that's true? If you could actually think through it?
It's not really a solution at all.
No.
For that person who has lost their life, then their problems are over.
Right.
But if they really could understand how many people love them and care about them, how much support is truly out there for them, not just from family and friends and loved ones, but out there, maybe you need medication, maybe you just need the right therapist, maybe you just need a good friend, then you would see that the situation at hand is only short term. Things always change.
Right. So tell me about the event that is coming up in September.
Do you want to talk
Go
about
ahead.
that? Well, we're going to start it off on September 7th. That's going to be Friday night at the East Side. We're inviting people to come to dinner. It's going to be $25 a person, and there will be some speakers there that evening. And that's just kind of to kick things off and get it started. And then the main event is going to be on September 8th.
Right.
We're looking at check-in at 9 o'clock to come to register. People can also go online at afsp.org and register there if they want. You can create your own teams, or you can join one of ours, or I'm sure you can just register as a single person and walk. There's no cost to register. There's going to be some light breakfast and items to begin with, and like a light luncheon after. And probably around 9:30 or so, then we're going to have a chairman from the Vermont organization come, and they're going to talk with us. We'll hopefully have some personal experiences from the local area that hopefully people will be able to talk about. And then we're going to kind of get together and organize this walk, and we'll be walking from the gazebo over in the Causeway, up Main Street to the Family Dollar, and turning around and coming back. We're expecting it to take approximately 45 minutes. We're not going to be in a big rush. And just for people to be able to get together, to put it out there so that it's seen. We want it to be very visual, so that maybe you don't feel like this year you can walk, but we're planning to do this every year. Maybe next year you can come and join us if you just need to sit back and see how things go this year. But we want it to raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They do a lot with education. They also have some support groups, which we're thinking about working on starting something in this area. Might take us a little while to put something together, but we know there's a need out there now.
So basically, it's a bit like Relay for Life in the sense of, you know, the Relay for Life, they, I think they go all night, but that puts a face to cancer.
Yes.
You're trying to put a face to people who've lost their lives to suicide.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Or who are attempted suicide.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. Well, that's another point. Is so are you going, like, amongst the speakers? Then is there going to be a speaker who has tried to take their own lives to help people understand what
I'm not
they
sure
may have been going
exactly.
through?
I'm not sure exactly who we have lined up at the moment, but I know that if there's anyone out there who wants to tell their story of survival, that I'm sure that everybody would really be willing to listen to that.
Now, again, just so we can put it up on the screen, what was the website that people can go to?
I believe it's in the brochure there too, and we've put these pamphlets out.
Right.
But it's afsp.org and afsp.org,
Right.
and that is for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Now, how about if somebody wants to talk to somebody about going, if they just want to, maybe they have to work through it, whether they think they can go, who should they contact by phone if there's one person?
I think that pretty much all of us who are involved in this have been willing to talk. Where I personally work, I have a lot of people come in, talk to me about it. More and more people are wanting to discuss it, to hear about it. And I think we all pretty much answer any questions anybody has. We help them try to set up their register online if they want to. I think we've all been pretty well willing to help anybody in any way we can.
So, in addition to the walk you're hosting, do you have any other events coming up?
Yeah, we've actually got a list of events. Right now we have an ongoing bottle drive that will be going now through the end of September, and that's at IC Bottles in Orleans. It's right on Route 5, and it shares a building with Central Farm Tire and Auto. So people can go and either drop their bottles off anytime and just say that they're to be donated for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, or they can also call 754-6864 and arrange for someone to pick them up, and we'll do that anytime we can arrange for something like that. We've got on August 4th, we're looking at a hot dog fundraiser, and that will be in the parking lot at the Faith Lighthouse from 1 to 4, Mandy?
Yes.
Okay. So I did mention the dinner at the East Side on September 7th. October 13th at Paul's Sugar House, we're going to have a dance, and the Evansville Transit Authority is going to play there that night for us. And that'll be like a BYOB event, and the band will play from 8 to midnight. We'll probably have some bracelets for sale there that night, and some other things going on. And we've also just learned recently that we're going to be able to set up a booth at the Barton Fair from August 15th through the 19th.
Okay. You know, if anybody...
Oh yeah, I got a yard sale too. I forgot we didn't put that on here.
No,
I'm going to do a
yard
big
sale?
benefit yard sale, yeah. So anybody who wants to donate any items to this, all of the money is going to be donated to the AFSP, and I'm doing that at my house across from the Tree Corners Campground, and that'll be Labor Day weekend.
You know, if anybody's watching this show right now and they're really in despair, because, you know, sometimes this airs at night when everything's quiet, and somebody's really in despair, what should they do? I know you're not experts, but
Right.
just from a family level, if you really feel like this is it, you know, I'm just going to get this done and over with, what do you do?
I think the main thing is they need to be able to reach out for help.
Yeah. Everybody's situation is different. I mean, you can call the hospital. I'm sure they'll talk to you. I'm sure they'll have somebody. I know mental health has an 800 hotline number. We don't happen to have that with us right now. Call a friend. Call someone you trust. Call someone you know loves you. Bend an ear. If you know any of us, we're on, we all have Facebook pages. Send us a message. We'll get back to you.
And even if you don't know us and you have our number,
Yeah.
call us.
Yeah, my number's on there, so
And
I'm willing to talk to anybody.
Yep. Just don't sit alone with it, because the longer you're alone with it, the more you can convince yourself that it's okay and it's the right thing. You need to reach out. You need to talk to somebody.
All right, we only have a few more minutes left. Is there any more you'd like to share about your son, your cousin, your brother, or about what you're doing?
I'm just doing this mainly to help people, but more so it's my way of honoring my brother.
Do you think he'd be really happy with what you are doing?
Yes.
Absolutely.
He had a very big heart.
It's hard to find, it'd be very hard to find somebody who knew Sean, who didn't think the world of him. He was well loved.
Okay, with all that said and done, again, my sympathies are with you, and I'm really happy that I've been able to help you get your message out, and I think you're doing a great job getting it out. You're on Facebook, you're pounding the drum, and you know what? I suspect that that while your son is gone, I think you will save others from suffering the same pain that you have suffered.
And that's our goal.
It is. Yeah, we're working hard at that, and
there has been people that have talked to us that haven't told anybody about family members that have died from suicide. So they're finally being able to speak.
Yep.
I was going to ask you that, whether people have come out of the, as it's called, coming out of the darkness.
Yep.
Well, why are you coming out of the darkness? Is that what people have felt like?
It's one of those things that have to be hush hush.
That,
allowed to talk about
when
it.
you're there, like Sean was there, it was a dark place for him to be.
Yeah.
And when you're there and it's the darkest, that's when it's the most dangerous, But if you can join us, if you can walk out of the darkness with us and shed some light on this for everybody, and talk about your own pain, even if you're not suicidal now, maybe you have been in the past, and people bury that, and it's good to talk about it and to know that. I guess the main thing here today is so that people just know that we're all out here too, that you're not by yourself. You are not alone in this.
Okay. Thank you for coming on the time today and sharing the story of your loved one and using his death to very likely save others.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in today.